So for the infill panels, I'm going to be sewing a diamond pattern into them, and for that to really show up I'm going to put some scrim foam backing into it, and just to help it all stick together while I'm sewing it, I'm just going to use some spray adhesive to hold the two bits together. Once the diamond pattern's been sewn in, it won't be doing anything, but it just makes it easier to sew. I'll just give that a minute or so to dry, because it doesn't want to be wet when you just stick the two bits together. So here you can see I've been doing some tests just to make sure that the patterns and things I'm trying to achieve are going to look okay, which I think they are. So we need to do this diamond pattern in the infill panels, and to do that I'm going to mark and sew. I found that this material sews better face down. I was having issues. I think I think it's the dog on the sewing machine was struggling to pull this the scrim foam through, but it doesn't have any problem at all with this. So I'm going to mark the back, and also it means if I mark the back, you don't see any pencil marks. So probably can't see it very well. I did miss the line very slightly, just here. Sorry, I'm looking at the screen upside down. I can't actually see where I'm. There we go. Yeah, so pencil marks on the back, it means I don't have to worry about trying to clean them off in the future. And the size of these diamonds is kind of arbitrary, as long as they're even throughout. So what I'm going to use, I've got this rather large framing square which I use for my woodwork, and I'll do that to mark sort of 2 inches, and I will just use the width of this to help me mark things. I know this is 2 inches across, very nearly, which I'll do, and I'll use this to do parallel lines across like that. Next step I'm going to do, now that I've got all these diamond patterns marked up, is to sew them. Again, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be sewing this face down because I found that this material feeds much better when the material side is face down. The foam, the scrim back foam, doesn't really grip very well. Okay, so as you can see, we now have a finished panel, and I've also done the panel for the seat base. So the next step is to go and measure up the border pieces of the vinyl and stitch them on. Now that I've got the all the parts of the top plate cut out and marked up, I need to try and assemble this top plate for this is for the seat base on the passenger seat. It's slightly complicated at the back of the seat. The seat will come along here, and then there's a U-shape cut out where it fits around the metalwork and the foam. So I'm putting together the back piece first, and it looks kind of weird, and I really hope I remember how it all went together in the first place, because I could have got this wrong and I won't know until I try and put it together. Should be right though. So I need to sew all of these bits together before then opening it out and sewing these bits across. Well, it'll be the other way up when it's done. These pieces will sew across here with the wire strip. I must remember to put this in, otherwise I won't be able to get the wires in to hold the centre panel into the foam as it should be. This is now all of the pieces for the back of the seat panel top plate sewn together. So when it's finished it will look something like that. These here, the reason for this great big flappy bit is that folds round under, goes down, and that gives us a, it's difficult to show the shape when it's got no structure, so it'll take my word for it, it does something like that. Anyway, what I now need to do is to sew this onto the plate here. The strip for the metal bars that go in it needs to be sewn in at this stage, but it's important to get this in the right place because I'm going to open this up and do a top stitch. I want to sew this on in this direction. Do I? No. I need to go and have a think about this, because if I don't sew this in the right place when I do the top stitch, I'll sew through it and I won't be able to get the horizontal bars in. So back in a minute. Hey, I've got my head around it now. I'm actually going to sew the wire. Well, there's a proper name for that. I'll think of that in a second. The wire holder I will sew onto this surface, because then when I open it up and do the top stitch will come this way and that'll be going the other way, so that's going to work fine. Because I made a slight mistake when trimming this and I didn't quite leave the full 1/2 inch selvage required down the whole length, I'm going to pin the two parts together as best I can. Otherwise I'm going to end up with a piece that's not the right size. The other thing that's really important when you're sewing something like this is you need to sew from the centre point out, at least when you're getting the first half in, because otherwise you could end up the whole section out of miles out on one side. At least if you start from the centre, we're going to minimise issues, and because this first stitch is going to be hidden stitch, it won't matter if we've got some extra layers and doubled over here, but on the top stitch then I need to be more careful, more mindful of where I'm starting from, because it will be a visible stitch. Okay, so there's the first panel joined on, and that's the... I'll turn this off a sec. That's definitely the most complicated of the top panel pieces, just because we had to get this wire holder in, and that's done. So I think what I'll do next is I'll sew the top piece on here. Or will I? No. I tell you what I'm going to do. I am going to sew the top stitch along here first. I think if I do it that way, because if I make a mistake here, I'll probably have to unpick the whole lot and then possibly remake the panels, because once you've done a top stitch in vinyl, you'll see the holes in it. It just depends. Hopefully I won't make a mistake. Some mistakes can be hidden, others can't, so we'll see how we get on. I will show this process on the main camera, and then probably the remainder of it is all just doing the same again, so I'll just do a time lapse of it, because you don't need to see every stitch going in detail. Right, there we go, first panel done, and I can say with some relief, or first join done, that has gone really well. Oh, that's going to look really good when it's done. Yes, that looks like that's absolutely fine. So now we just need to carefully run the top stitch down it. Great stuff. Oh, it's starting to come together now. I'm really happy with how it's looking. Hopefully you can see then, I have mocked up the fit to make sure that it fits okay so far. And to do that, I just put the metal rods through their housings. I still haven't worked out what that word is. And then just put it all back in place, and good news, it all goes back together well. The final step then for doing this piece, oh, not really the final step, the next step on doing this piece is to start making up all the edging. and that'll go on all the way around. And then after that I need to sew on all of the clips, which are what are used to hook it onto the metal piece. And yeah, that'll be the base done. I'm really chuffed so far, it's looking good. And